Testing, testing. Alright, it looks like I am good. Alright, this is new. Oop. Alrighty, what time is it? It's currently 8. Never seen this before. 8:39. 39, and then it's boom. No, it's not AM. So how do I change that? Try the mouse. So it's only. Oh, do I have to like scroll through it? Yeah, that's what I have to do. Okay. No, I just turned 40. Huh. That was interesting. Hang on, hang on. What? Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you booted up the game. A lot of people don't take the step seriously. They just leave the clock at 12 and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set up the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know that you care about the experience. You're paying attention. I don't even have any way to knowing if the time you're setting are correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been on a cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see this screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whatever time you want, even if it's not the correct time. You earned it. Yes! Alright, I'll let you get back to video game now. That was funny. Begin game. I am Stanley. Stan the man. I'm gonna skip the beginning. Welcome back to your first achievement. I played this the first time.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I gotta get those memos in. I hate Mondays. I do too.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright, let's do what I'm told first.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
How to solve it with co-workers. Let it all up instead of you. Inside of you. Oh, I am a slow reader. I am sorry. Who closed that door? Scary game now.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Look at the executive over. Hello, boss.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
8, 4, 5.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
I don't know how I knew that.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Not really options to go through. Oh, it's loading.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
But there's escape. But Mind Control Facility. But we'll take the escape. Ooh, button's got a touch.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Ooh, got a touch.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Yeah, wasn't it 257? Ooh, button, gotta press.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
What? That's some bull honky.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Never.
For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
God bless you, Stanley.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Ah! Achievement! Beat the game. I paid how much money for this game? And to the beginning. Alright.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Probably. Let's go through the right door this time.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ooh, this is a nice
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Oh, I'm drinking it. I'm drinking it all in. I am.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Nah. In some part of the other building. I almost went out.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
This is why everyone left.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue. But when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
I'm not getting the message. You can see out these windows. It's pretty. I wish you could jump. What's that, coffee nut?
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
I see stuff in there, but we're gonna ignore him.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I'm surprised. Surprised I can hold this job.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do,
No one tells me
Stanley
what to
leapt
do.
from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Good. I am the powerful. Stanley!
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Nice playroom.
Wow. Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
And stop.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
Where's my legs?
Please, Stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Who's her? Her? Her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Mommy? Mama? Oh shit.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Mommy? Mother? God, it's fucking bright.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven.
What?
All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
No, this is not good. Okay.
Gotcha. Oh, come on.
I kinda
Did you
remember
actually
this.
think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
No.
Sorry,
Oh,
but you're in my story now.
I can't do anything. That brick-
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Good morning.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Can I push?
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Can I actually watch TV?
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Well, I guess I died. I died. I done died. Dun diddly dun die. Alright, let's do this again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Do something different.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
I said that.
Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Uh-oh.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
I did something different.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
We're gonna go. Oh, the door's closed.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Or did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Ooh, let's go on the chairs. Nope, can't jump. So, alright, let's go. Let's start from the chairs instead. What? Did I just open up the game? Wait a minute.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Here. Oh, damn. I was exploring.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, there's no doors.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Might be a thing.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes.
What happens if I go back this way? Oh, that would have been funny. Alright, let's go back. Are you sure this is the story?
No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Okay. There's a different.
Now well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
Thank you.
Oh, no, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
You always went forward. Let's follow the line. We're gonna have to do all that again.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay, now if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Got it.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Oh. We're doing LinkedIn. Okay.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
The line.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it. We should be fine.
Do I just go back the other way? Stupid lines. Who needs them? I don't. Huh, line. I guess we're. Never mind. See. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 turns. somehow don't. I think we're ignoring the line, but we're technically following the line. Oh, there.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination, so I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
Shit. That scared me again.
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office? When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Oh, I actually hit my controller. That's funny.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, 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 not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Pretty sure it's on
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be...
about that, but
Or did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
it's an adventure. Let's go through the doors. It's an adventure. What is the adventure? Wait, no. Okay. Can I get to the chairs? Let's see. Easy. I'm at the chairs. Look at me. This is different.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
So. Did these have stuff on it this whole time? Like how my own
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes.
story.
No,
Yup,
wait,
there's
never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
I think so.
Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
I win again.
Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that? No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on. You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay, now if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the Adventure Line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
I guess we're going that direction.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Not acknowledging it. I don't know any more.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Doesn't matter. What happens if I just sit in here?
Oh, hold up, what's this?
Milk.
The confusion ending.
I cannot-
You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination, so I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Jesus, I hate that. Alright. So, I'm not leaving.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Oh, and I'm dead. And the next day she was dead. What's the next ending? There's one that you have to do, like, there's one, 434.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. You too will become quite unbearable. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Nope. We'll see.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death. As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
What?
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
The office. 1, 2, 3. I hit the buttons. Credits. Office computers. So there's different boss offices. So you have to constantly keep playing to get the real one. Or unless, is it the same or is it always different? Maybe, I don't know. Development of the boss's office. Maybe, never mind, I might be completely wrong. What the fuck is this? Clock down desk. Oh. Doorway and maintenance in the lounge. Staircase. So, disobey lounge. Obey. So, one option. Two option. Down doorway to maintenance. The other entrance would be hidden depending on how you entered. The confusion ending, which apparently there's a vent. Confusion ending. Phone. 876. So much I'm missing. What? This is the beginning, right? So yeah, let's go back. Missing a lot. Warzone. In development, redesigned an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey, and one of the noses for the game. Plus, some people interrupted it as making fun of people who like shooters, which is not our intention. I mean, that would have been funny. Am I Stanley? Are you spying on me? So there's different desks layouts that they have. Interesting.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time...
Interesting. Okay, let me... Heaven ending relies on the player interacting with certain screens over multiple playthroughs. If done correctly, the final screen will replace Stanley's monitor in room 427, making another ending that can potentially be accessed right from the start of the new playthrough. More information can be found. Location. So on a fresh playthrough,
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So, input received. Oh, is it just... Once the keyboard has been activated, the deep cell to be heard. This player has reset the new Stanley Parable playthrough. So I have to reset again. To reset again. No. Once the player resets again, the next input can be found on 423. Can be found. Third monitor requires the playthrough to guys stay in the left. The next monitor can be found outside the boss's office, but it cannot be activated in the same playthrough. So another ending reset needs to be used. Let's reset. Needs to occur.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
That was new. I had to do it. I had to do it. Andy, that's me.
Hello, and thank you for playing The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, The Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, here we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Maybe if Trevor gets on, we can play Grounded. Wait, what happened? Oh.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Hey, I can jump now. Maybe we can play the Grounded game. If Trevor gets on. message Trevor if you want to. Let me try to turn myself up. No, I am all the way up, apparently. Maybe I gotta deep throat my mic. Wow, I get to jump. Oh, the new Fallout season.
Is that it? Surely that's
Maybe
not
I'll
all the
play a
new
little bit.
content. There has to be something else, right?
Because
Goodness.
I also
Another elevator.
just got
Stanley,
a
I have to say,
capture card,
initial
but I need
impressions
one
of this
more
game are
thing.
not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
That was it.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stan? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it.
How do
In
I
fact,
sound
I'm
now?
looking right now at the game's achievement, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable.
Twitter.
It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having
There.
a great time together
turned
like
it down.
always. What do you say, friend?
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, well, this is new.
Stanley, come over here. In the vent.
There's stuff over
I
there.
want to show you something.
Maybe in a second. Let me look over here. I'm gonna go on the vent. I'm gonna go on the vent. What's this? Sunset.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Never played the first one. I've always watched. Oh, it's a guinea pig that died. They call it Little Stanley, probably.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be
They're just
every
choking
game
their own
ever
ego.
created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim. It was Persona 3. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
It's not here. Person of the year. All the buttons. I'm glad I got the new content thing.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
How am I supposed to go through there? What? How am I? Are you serious? That ain't cool. This door open, so that's the only way I can go back.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh, no. Oh, God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor.
Oh, no.
I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Oh, no.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Unfunny? Can I get it? Are you forklift certified? Oh, I wish they actually had the... That's funny. Where reviews get to... Oh.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley, I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Ooh, what's this one say?
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment
Andy is
surely it
streaming.
couldn't
Be
hurt.
careful.
Yeah, I'm streaming.
Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record.
I'm playing Stanley Parable
of the
right now.
Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's
the
always
ending
been
where
my
Stanley does
motto.
that thing
I'd do
where he
anything
becomes
for the
Stanley.
customer, Stanley.
That's
Yes,
Stanley
a
where
he
skip
gets
button
ready to
we
fight
shall
God.
have.
Hold on. I got into the actual new content.
Yeah,
There's an ending.
And here it
There's
is.
an
Go
ending.
ahead
They
and give it a
make
shot.
fun of,
I'll pop you
I think
forward in
Blizzard.
time so that the second...
Yep.
Oh,
It's freaking hilarious.
Oh, you're back,
My
you
favorite
see.
part
You
of the
were
game is
only
the
frozen
bucket.
in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for
All I
me to
want.
deliver a long, rambling monologue
gonna get the
full of
10-year achievement?
unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations
Don't play
on the
the game for
nature of
10
choice in
years.
video games. Of course,
By
I
the way,
happen
who
to
was the one
believe
who played
it was
Grounded?
perhaps one of my more
Me and
profound
Andy.
such ruminations.
Okay.
Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it,
I
I'd
do have to
say it
make
was perhaps
for
less of a
12 miles.
rumination and...
Oh shit.
I'm doing
you
a
can
big
skip.
one.
Well, there's
Well,
sport.
be
You
up
really
till
did
late
catch me
tonight,
rambling on a
so-
bit, didn't you?
I'm
But that's
working
the
on a lot.
power of the button.
Tomorrow is
The minute I
I'm
start to
off
go off on a
Atlanta,
thoughtless
the shop.
display of
Therefore,
self-absorption,
when
it's right at your
also
fingertips to
keep my
go
shit.
poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit
Where's
the
this
rating
man
of their
shop
Steam
at?
review, or at least change
As soon as
some
I
of the
finish
wording,
this ending,
perhaps.
I'll get on
To be
Grounded.
honest, I don't even know if one
I mean,
can
I'm not
change their
getting on
review in
for
the
a-
first
like, a
place.
while, though.
I guess I should
really?
become better educated on exactly
together
how Steam
12
works.
models.
Perhaps that would have been the
There are
smart thing to
bottles
check on
of wood.
before I went about this whole exercise of
Bottles.
making the skip button. Although I have
Minis.
to
Warhammer.
imagine
Oh.
that after seeing this exciting new technology at work,
Finishing off my
surely
army, you know,
whoever
I'm
it
getting
is
to
runs
1K with this
Steam
conclusion.
will instantly
I wanna
run
try to
out
stream
and
me
implement a
putting
new
together
feature
and
to make
stuff.
it possible to edit one's review, merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely.
So eventually we want to do a painting party. at the
Okay,
shop.
welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say
Really?
that the amount of time the
Yeah.
button has
Yeah, I
been
don't know what
skipping
day
through is
Rowan
becoming
really
longer
wants
and
to do,
longer.
see all
That
those
last one was,
art
well,
stuff.
I want to say maybe 30, 45
Also,
minutes.
what did you think of my
It's not
messages earlier?
unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to
Original
myself
race.
about. I know it's
Cook 'em where
shocking,
they-
isn't it? But at
Well,
any
it's fun,
rate,
man.
I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated.
What's that?
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been
I
12
like pushing the button.
hours. You've just
By the
been
way,
frozen
Andy-
there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really,
excited?
truly getting longer. And
Am I
my
excited
God,
for
there's
what?
no way out of the...
Pokemon 4-player co-op.
Well, we talked about it, yeah.
Dude,
For what?
I want Lechonk now. The
Oh,
game.
Pokemon.
The
Stanley, the...
game, the RPG,
Oh, Stanley.
the
You're back.
Pokemans is gonna
You're
be
back.
4-player
Oh, my
co-op in the
goodness.
world.
I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I
Bro,
think it's been
excitement.
a week.
Man,
Or
have any
2
plans
weeks.
then?
Seth
I've been
is
sitting
probably
here
gonna
all
get
that
it based on
time,
how he was
just
talking.
sitting
I'm
here.
100% like
Not a
me.
single person to speak.
I'm a child. I are an infant
Oh,
child. I
hello.
like the
It's you.
Pokemon
You're here
games.
again. Welcome.
Do you like the
I have
Pokemon game?
had time to think about you and about us and about everything
So,
we've
question
been
for Grounded.
through.
I'm
I've
gonna
had
Google it.
so
Am I
much
How much
time.
fucking
I stopped
dialogue
keeping
does
track
the
after a
narrator
year.
have?
Have you ever sat
Dude,
down in
it's
one
so
place and not
fucking
moved for
much.
one entire year? Let me describe it for you.
But Andy,
to
you gotta
begin
get
with,
the
there
10-year
is
achievement.
only regret.
Do I
There
have
is
to get to
only
the
the
what?
turning wheel of missed
10-year achievement.
opportunities.
You have to
I
not
felt
play the game for
nothing
10
at all
years.
but
You have to
regret
not play for 10
the
years.
longest time.
Well, this is
Stanley.
the
Days,
definitive
I lost it
edition
all
or
in
whatever
the
it was
blur
called.
of
Yeah,
the
not
deepest
play the
long...
game.
Not play the game for 10 years to get an achievement.
Oh, I'll do it sometime. Uh oh.
They just added it because people on Steam were getting to the 5-year achievement of not playing the game. They're like, cool, in celebration of the new game, here's the 10-year achievement.
The
We're
narrator
still not
shut
done with
up.
our game yet.
The narrator doesn't speak no more.
Oh, go back.
Lieutenant Dan ain't got no more legs.
Lieutenant
Oh.
Legs, where's your Dan?
Oh,
Lieutenant Dan, where's your
oh,
legs?
the fire extinguisher needs batteries.
I'm sorry.
The fire alarm started to go
What
off.
kind of crazy shit you just tell me? The fire extinguisher.
But they didn't
Shush.
understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the
Collapse.
jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they
Collapse.
screamed, they
Andy.
gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us.
Enough for a kill team, and it looks like Seth wants to actually begin a kill team league at the shop sometime in the near future.
I'm
Like,
getting my Saturdays
tournament.
back, by the way, too. So,
I'll
Oh,
come
Saturdays
play,
are gonna
but I
open?
will play with only my set
well,
of
yeah,
dice.
permanent.
That is all I will use. Don't question it.
And
just
then
go
I
with
got
it.
my. Oh, other good news is I got my. What is it called? Video card.
yeah, okay.
I'll
That's
keep
there,
pressing
yeah.
the button. Give me 1 second.
Spam it.
And then
Spam it.
I will. Just give me a second.
Don't do what he says.
Let me-
It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little
how's your video
thumbs
card?
down
Can you test
review
it, yeah or
and
no?
make all of their pitiful demands.
Oh, I pressed the button again. By the way,
Stanley,
so
don't
I
press
put
the button.
I put my stream
Oh,
thing to for 20. So I put it once I get 100 followers, I'm gonna do a 24-hour stream.
Shit. Okay.
So
Prepare for hell.
spread the word. I want to get 100 followers. It's a good goal.
24-hour stream.
I just keep
The
pressing.
end,
Why-
Listen,
why
I
come
will
over
join
the
you.
camera,
is
bro?
never
Listen,
the
I
end,
made
is
a
never
Oh,
the
hold on,
end,
shh.
is never the end, 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 is never the end.
Buying all this
The
man's
end
ammo,
is
he has
the
himself
end,
This is
is
creepy.
the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the
He's
end,
repeating
is never
the end is
never
never
the end,
the
is never
end.
the end,
There's
is
never
never
this
the
the
end,
end.
is never the end, is never the end, is never the
The end is
end,
never
is
the
never
end.
the
The end is never
end,
the
is
end. The
never
end is
the
never
The
the
end
end.
is never the end. The end is never the
There
end.
is no end.
Oh, the roof
You
is
will always
leaking.
begin. It leaks from blood. Here's
This
here's
man
some
has
hopes
made
and dreams.
zero. This man made 0 caps off of me.
How?
He was selling a bunch of ammo for 0 caps.
What the?
Hell yeah, dude. He just got a message that popped up that he made
What
0
the
money, by
fuck?
the way. Like, that man got a notification that he just gave you that for free. Where are the ever-loving ding?
Oh, daylight.
Jesus God, you're kidding me.
All right, keep doing it, I guess.
Good
End is
lord.
never the end. The end is never the end. Is never the end. Is never the end.
It's never the end.
Mother
pretty.
of fucking shit. Andy, I'm glad you didn't pick AdMech, dude. You would have been angry. This shit nutty.
I finally got a shelf for stuff too.
Hell yeah.
Well, not a shelf,
Keep
like just
that
drawers.
Detached there.
Where'd the planes all go? Alright, let's go press it again.
Okay, so that one I'm gonna have to redo at some point. My other one's a little not okay.
I would have been on last
fuck
night,
is
but I was
that?
sloshed out of my mind.
Yeah.
It was fun. Yeah.
I do want to do a drunk stream one day.
Dude, the hard Mountain Dews.
Ooh,
Pretty good.
the button. We don't have it, you jerk.
Ha! I've still got 2 more sitting next to me, and I'm
No, we got
drinking
hard
right
water
now.
though, dude.
Yeah, we got hard water. It has.
You don't mean Lake California.
Oh, there's an exit. Oh wait.
What's wrong with that?
Okay, I'm in a
They're s-
desert now.
These are so good. I think Seth would be able to drink them no problem. Well, I'm saying when
All right,
he's 21.
to the sun.
I guess that's fair.
God, it's bright. Is this supposed to be like the end of the
We
world?
all know he won't do it before.
Am I actually getting further away from it?
Treasure hunter.
Are the Molemen back?
Yeah, the legendary treasure hunters.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm killing one right now.
Oh yeah, dude. I gotta let that dry for a little bit.
Oh, the game started over.
Yep. There's a lot of those.
Alright, I know a new ending. If I might have to do it. It's called like the Heaven one.
Get out of here, fucking scored. Oh wait, I have my boomstick on me.
Oh, it doesn't. Never mind, I can't do it. Oh,
You know.
new
the
content.
ultras.
There's new content.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
That's funny. Oh, we're going this way.
That's right, we like our Ultra Sight double barrel.
Oh, I finished, one night, I just streamed for 4 hours. I finished, Witch Queen, like, after you get done with Witch Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gun that you get with the worm inside
you see,
of it.
Stanley, I've been reflecting on the
Parasite,
Stanley
yeah.
Parable
It's fun.
and about how roundly disappointing this
That took way too
ultra-deluxe
long.
version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark,
It's a good
and any
weapon.
new
No, it's a
content
good
for it should
weapon.
live up to that legacy.
It doesn't
So
fly.
forget this
That's
ultra-deluxe
exactly right.
nonsense. I say we take it one step even
I just
further.
forget
To the
Which is
moon!
why
prefer the
I'm
Kiala
very
for it.
proud to announce for the first time
Even though
ever
I'm
the Stanley Parable 2.
Stanley Parable 2.
It's something I just won't ever
The
escape.
end is never the end
Yes,
again.
You see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An
Test
entirely
tube.
new experience, built from the ground up.
Oh,
Wide
Trevor, by the
so
way, there was a Payday 2
possibilities. It could
mask
go in
Easter egg
so
that I
many
found in
different
here.
directions.
That's
This
awesome.
is what fans have truly been asking for.
Where's Payday 3, guys?
Yeah, right.
Never coming. You think Alamir
Calling
still
it the
wants to
Stanley
make Payday
Parable
3?
2 is just so much
Yes.
catchier than Ultra Deluxe,
I
don't you
doubt
think?
it.
Ultra
likes money.
Deluxe? What does it even
pissed
mean?
That's fair, but he
the
also wanted to
Stanley
make it
Parable
Payday
2.
2.
Now
The
that's
DLC's
an
free for a while,
artistic
and then
statement
that kind of
right
was
there.
like-
It's future-oriented. It screams progress
Did
and
not make
innovation
money, and he
and
was
long-term
like, "Yeah, I think we
franchising
need paid
potential.
content."
That's all the different ways that they could do Parallel 2.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features
Two
I've been
eyes,
developing
2
for
ears,
it.
2 noses, 2
I
arms, 2
figure
legs.
that if I can loosely organize
I've
a
seen
handful
the
of
stuff for the
interesting
new Call of
concepts,
season. We're good
that
for now.
surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or
This
logical,
way to the
really.
show. They just came out. That would be hilarious if they just came out with this game to actually present an actual Stanley Parable 2. That would be freaking hilarious.
Time to go play
Here
Black
we
Ops
are.
3.
Go on. Try out some of the new
If you're
features.
my dude.
Oh my god, they just opened it to me. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Oh my god. This, I'll be super
For the Stanley
surprised.
Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the
Big
first and
swallow
most
just right.
obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button, which
So this
speaks
should
the name of the person
cool. What do we
playing
need
the
to do?
game.
We're going to back
Isn't
panel now?
that wonderful?
Are you thinking you're gonna get all 12 done by tonight?
We're gonna try and I'm
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the
Yeah.
button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this
What
button
happens
will
if my
say
name was
your
Jim?
name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role play as Jim to really
I
simulate
am
the
Jim.
full experience of this feature. Just play along.
Sorry,
I
Jim.
promise you'll
I
love
am
it.
Jim.
Okay, here we go. Let's take a
Yo, are you
deep
an
breath,
Asian man?
clear your mind,
Shut up.
forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named
Jack from
Jim.
Stefan.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory.
Ah, yes,
if you
the
don't
rice
properly
cooker.
roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise,
Is that a gun
it's
you
just a stupid button that says somebody else's
What?
name.
That
Okay,
name you just
we're
said.
doing it again,
Oh,
and
the
this
rice
time
cooker.
let me finish first.
Oh, it's the,
Now,
the
allow
alternative name for
yourself to
Batman
become
Little Boy.
Jim. Imagine yourself driving to work as Jim, playing frisbee on the weekends as Jim.
I am Jim.
Staying up all night for a popcorn and horror movie sleepover as Jim.
I am Jim.
Developing a crippling substance addiction as Jim.
Well, I am definitely Jim.
Rediscovering yourself
Time to
through
go play
fringe
Shadows
religious
of Evil.
groups as Jim. And finally, dying a slow death
Yeah.
at an old age, surrounded
Yes.
by members of your cult as Jim.
Oh, I have a
Love
cold.
your
I am
soul.
Jim.
Are you really,
Black Ops
truly
3,
Jim right
zombies.
now?
I am Jim.
If so,
I know that
then
name,
please
but I
step
don't know that
forward
name.
and press the button.
I am Jim.
Shadows of Evil, that's the first map, right?
You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was
Yeah,
you!
it's like we
The
were so
button
close.
described you! Do it again, do it again!
Do it again. Do it
It's one
again.
of the harder ones.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
You know how to advance the levels real quick, right?
Yeah.
It hits
You
even
have them in
harder the
first
second
room.
time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley
alright.
Parable 2, it would still be worth the
Go up
money.
to 15.
Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
I
don't
am
like
I suppose I could
Jim.
allow only people
Well, they
named
made-
Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That
They
would
made the
actually
giant
save me the work of
$6.
finishing
What?
this feature.
Gary.
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 What the hell is that noise?
Do you know who Gary is,
Yeah.
Frodo?
No.
The baby
The vault.
is all grown up.
There's a vault where what happens is they have a cloning machine, and so they just start cloning themselves. And eventually, a man named Gary kind of goes a little bit too far and starts cloning himself in mass. They take over,
Gary.
and after a few generations of it, they only know how to say Gary.
Alright, what's this one? The Stanley
literally
Parable
Gary.
2. The Stanley Parable.
Fucking terrifying. It's one of the Fallouts. You actually can go in there
Research
and you
bucket.
have all the men. Everybody named Gary is attacking you. There's a bunch of
A
them.
common complaint of the Stanley
I looked
Parable
at Gary
was that it
Hall.
was confusing and paradoxical.
God.
That
Do
it
I get a
engendered a
bucket?
chaotic
Where's the
sense of
bucket?
reckless despair in those who played
Bucket.
it.
They were going to Red
Well,
Dead
where's the
2.
I'm happy
bucket?
to say that after much consideration,
You can
I've
go
engineered a
get
clever solution
tuberculosis
to this
and/or
fundamental problem with the game.
eaters.
It's the
Well, you're
Stanley
not.
Parable
Andy's still playing Stanley,
Reassurance
and I'm waiting for
Bucket.
you too.
You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding
Bye,
your
my
bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true.
Now here's your
As
list.
long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting
Upgraded
contradictions
shit
of the
tonight.
Stanley Parable will feel
Yeah.
perfectly normal.
Yeah, we got
perhaps
a house
even
appraiser coming on
comforting.
Monday.
You may even come
nice.
to long for the
You guys trying to get out
gentle
of that one?
grace of jarring cognitive
it's
dissonance
my-
while the bucket
my
is in
parents
your
finally
arms.
own it.
And to be honest, that's a
Insurance.
much more
What's
convenient
going on?
solution for
My
me
parents finally
than
own the
actually
house,
redesigning
so
the game
for
to be less
insurance to do-
uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in
For
the
them
ass
to get
that would
insurance,
be?
I have to have a house
Yes,
appraiser come
the
and look at
bucket
everything.
is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Oh, I'm gonna give this bucket a try, man.
Okay. Bucket ending.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing
I haven't watched
despair,
anything,
must
so
already
shush,
be
guys.
sweeping through your body. And in
just
fact,
yelling random
can I say that I
Okay.
do
I have
believe the
watched
bucket
videos
lends you an
so
air
long
of
ago.
charisma as
I
well.
only know of an ending
I
where
think
you,
that just
like,
holding
have
it
an
has made you the
crisis.
slightest bit more
Yeah.
attractive as a person.
I got
the
a
benefits
like
of the bucket
bucket.
seem to
do
go
the
all
literal
along, don't
opposite of
they?
everything he tells
Big
you.
All
does.
this and more.
Well, yeah, you
await
just do the
you
opposite.
in the
They
Stanley
still have the same
Parable
endings in
2.
it, but they added more.
Of course.
I got a fucking bucket, man.
My life is complete. I am Bucket Man. It's Bucket
Can I put it on my head? I should put it
Does
on my
anyone
head.
give out awards for most enjoyable
Bucket
bucket
is
in a
SCP
video
guy.
game? That
No.
really should be an award if it isn't already.
No.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one.
No,
I
this
think
is
that in the
Patrick.
new version, the office could use a bit of decoration.
Get
like
well
balloons.
someday.
But
I'm
Happy
undecided
12th
on Get
birthday
Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Stepnies.
You know,
What are you doing
sometimes
to
when you
me,
solicit another
Stepnies?
person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along.
Wait,
Get
what?
well someday it is.
34.
Oh, you
Sorry,
jerks. Narrator's a jerk. Now I have to have all like a bunch of get well.
Or actually,
balloons.
maybe I should have gone with... No.
Yeah,
no,
no, you
I've
should've.
made my decision. We're moving on.
Free new easy achievement. I can't believe it's that simple. This is gonna be so hard. Free achievement. Get yours right now. Pull the lever, receive your new achievement. No more steps. It just works.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a
Oh no,
technology to
Stepnies,
simply
I'm
give
stuck.
you the achievement. Yes.
Oh
you see,
no,
you'll come
Stepladder.
to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
Hey, Frodo.
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This
Frodo.
is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel. To
What
at
the
last
fuck is my
satisfy
achievement?
the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will
Frodo.
happen.
Yeah.
Fuck is my achievement?
Oh, so you're approaching me? Well, you see.
Where am I at? Where do I need
Can't
to
really
go?
beat that ass from over here.
Okay, no.
It's SAO bridge. They have a character every time I talk to one character. They just
What else? What
trail
other
off
exhibits
into,
haven't
like,
we seen
thought,
yet?
and then come back.
Is that what Stanley's supposed to look like?
He looks like a Stanley. Stanley is Stanley. Miss Stanley is Stanley.
Stanley. Collect them all. Can you find them? Can you find them? Can you find them? What am I Whoa.
Ah,
By the way, did we
collectibles.
mention that's like a horror game?
Now
more or
it's a
less?
real video game.
Oh, it's
In the
like
Stanley Parable 2,
100%.
you'll run
Andy, by the
around
way,
gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be
I mean, you
no
could say Red Dead
reward for
Redemption, it's a
collecting all
horror
of them.
game.
I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of
Oh, you
watching
wanna
a
know
number
what's
go up.
What's
You
notice
simply
about how to
collect
build
all
bears
of
in
them,
that game?
and then you move the hell on
Sure,
with your
go ahead.
unremarkable life.
Don't run. Don't pull a gun out.
Yeah, you just stand
Stare
there.
them down. But here's the one catch. If you turn slightly or make too quick of a movement, they just go die and they just come flying back at you.
Yeah, they really do say go
There's
fuck
6
yourself.
of them. There's fucking 6 of them.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Where do I go now?
I heard the guy that comes to the shop a lot. He's a retired army man.
You know what?
who's
Let's
done some
bring the
shit
jump
based on
circle
stories he
back
saw. He
for
talks about,
Stanley
like,
Parable 2
first
as
thing that
well.
happens when a 50 cal hits
Oh, wait.
somebody,
You
may or may
already
not go
spent
to
all
church.
your
That's
jumps the
thing.
first
He
time we
starts
saw
going
the
on
jump
about
circle.
shit all the time. When he was saying,
well.
tell you if
I
you get the
suppose it can
option
just
to
be a
pick
nice decorative piece then.
Oh. I don't get to jump? Jerks. Now, where else did I miss? Got the bucket. Got that. Wait, is that the achievement thing? No. My name's Jim. Ooh, the infinite hole. It wouldn't end. So you're telling me where's all these stain statues? Ooh. Oh my god, I got so close to it. Infinity. It's a loop.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Forever? Can I drop the bucket in there?
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
No, I want to make sure it's infinite.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top.
Nah,
Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum.
that means
of
it's not
things.
infinite.
Okay, Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole.
I want to see the
Is it
end.
a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a...
Oh, found the end.
Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a
People put
liar and a
cigarettes
cheat, and
down.
you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants
Every
to
pause
fall
button is
infinitely?
a
I figured the hole was as deep
number.
as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the
Make it-
problem.
If we try just the two
Look,
of us.
things got a little heated
just the
there. I think we
two of
both said
us.
some things we
Just
didn't
the
mean.
two of
Why
us
don't we just
building
put all
castles
this
in the
behind
sky.
us and agree to
Just the
just call
two
the
of
whole
us, you and
mostly
I.
infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much.
I like holes.
Not
I do
normal.
like
A
holes.
normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time?
Did.
I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability in marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is. The shame of... How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching
It's a
itch.
hole.
Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
Uh-oh.
Is the, teleport button not working?
Uh-oh.
You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing?
Uh-oh.
Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else.
I like hole.
Take care, Stanley.
You too.
I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Yay. I like hole. Narrator? Well, this is my home now. And bucket. It's getting deeper. Ha 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 ha, fuck you. Wonder what happens now. Change of perspective. You can see Stanley. Whoa! What? Ooh.
My head's stronger. You're no longer using up the space of
What the fuck is going on? Oh, that's a buff, Stanley. Oh. Alright, relapsed in that one.
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley!
What?
Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there,
Oh.
drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be
is.
wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment.
Okay.
So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle-pip.
Toodle Pip, what the fuck does that mean? Is it doing it again? Oh. It's taking a longer to load. Takes a while.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Okay, I saw the hole. What else do we got? You heard of Jim in the game? It's over here. This doesn't seem like it goes to anything.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
So I did that, did that. Oh, there's an exit over there. Setting world champion? What? Oh. Mostly, did they change the... Mostly, they put mostly now. That's funny. Alright, let's see, exit. There is no exit here. Oh no, there is. Do I go through this? Oh no, I go through the steps. Yeah, you didn't let me do the jump circle, jerk.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
That's cool, we actually get to see Stanley. Oh, what's this?
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give
ready.
you the Stanley Parable 2. Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here
Nah, I
we go.
muted the party
Version
because
2.
I couldn't hear the game.
Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Interesting. Okay. Begin game.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big
The
building
balloons.
where he was employee number 427.
Did I actually get to the new
Employee
game?
Number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived.
I'm skipping that part. Well, we got the balloons. Where's my bucket?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Perhaps. That's new. Bucket!
Stanley picked up the bucket.
I got my bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
We're going to the right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Alright, let's keep going.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
That looks different, though. That looks... Does this look different? Or is this the same? No, that's the same, but it... Huh.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd found. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing... But Stanley lost the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
I
Was the
remembered
bucket
it.
guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Oh. Wait.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
I wonder where the infinite hole is.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Yeah. And if you're up north even further, you will fucking die within like 20 minutes of exposure outside.
Yeah, we've
If
only
you're
had
not-
weather down to the...
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Bucket, you're the only thing I need.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well?
What?
Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed
Yes, all
the
hail
bucket
the
tighter.
bucket.
His one friend in the entire world. At this point,
The
he
bucket
could
is my
trust
friend.
no
He's my
one
only friend.
except for the bucket.
Probably after this ending, I'm probably end the stream.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world.
Go up there.
They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
I wasn't listening at first. I can't get up to 4. How am I supposed to get up to 4? Wait, is there an elevator there? God, my nose itches. The bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the hierarchy. Oh, I was gonna have 5. Yeah, see? There's 4 up there, but whatever.
When at last they came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their obligation
Bucket?
to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it
Kill
stood
them
for.
all! What? Kill them all! Alright, I'll turn it off. God, I got a gnat in here. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
Darkness, redness, the whiteness.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated
Yes.
their greatest and darkest enemy,
job,
freed
Bucket.
themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door.
You want me to put
The
some
bucket
water
wanted
in
to
you?
learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support.
What?
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
No.
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
No.
Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming
No.
presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not
My
to
bucket.
the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket.
Fight
To be
his
trapped
life.
eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I?
Yes.
Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out. Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
It's a different starting. Hold on.
Stanley
Bucket.
lifted the bucket
I
into
saw
his arms,
that it's
and a wave
a meeting
of
in
comfort
today, so I'm
rushed
actually
over
kind of
him.
curious. Let me real quick go to the mirror.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
If there's nothing there, then I'm just gonna end the stream. Oh. What the? Trust the instinct. They gotta find them all. Be a reward for finding them all. Skip guiding yourself. I need to find them all, man. Where are they?
Coming to a staircase,
Go down.
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
It's the
But
repeating
Stanley
rooms.
just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's
does the
strange,
bucket
Stanley
return
thought.
your
Usually
gaze?
the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket.
No.
Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How
No.
did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience
bucket
without
go?
the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. Now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling
Where's my
to
bucket?
him. Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Bucket?
Could it truly be? He
Buckets!
rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
No.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me. He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he
No one's
froze dead
clipping
in his
it.
tracks.
Oh.
He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
No.
It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Alright, that will be the last ending that I
This
do.
is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Please tell me there's a bucket next to him. Please tell me there's a bucket next to him.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion
give me
and
a
it's all just a
second,
video
bro.
game. It could all have been
After
prevented
this.
if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place.
Oh, babe.
How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
She black flipped all the way to work. Alright, that's the last ending that I'm doing right now. I'll be back streaming Grounded.